One of the most affordable motorcycles from Triumph comes with a lot of built-in technology, incredible design, and top-notch finish. And in this video, you will learn all the technical features of the Scrambler 400X, fuel consumption, performance in the city and on the highway, colors, available price, insurance, and of course, my honest opinion with the positive and negative points. At the video's end, I'll tell you if this motorcycle is really worth it. If you're new here, I'm Amanda Pagliari, and this is the most charming motorcycle channel in Brazil, which also brings the best videos about two wheels on the internet. So please, leave a like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any videos, because here we have new videos about two wheels every week. This model was made in partnership with the Indian company Bajaj and has been a sales success since its launch. Currently in Brazil, we have two models available. This new platform, the Speed 400, is the entry-level version. And this one here, the Scrambler 400X abroad, they launched another entry-level 400. It's a little cheaper without the inverted suspension, among other features. We don't know yet if it will come to Brazil. But that's it. Currently, we have these two versions here that have not only been successful abroad, but also here in Brazil, and the pre-sale sold out as well. They released another list that also sold out. So this model here, this one, the Scrambler and the 400, have been very successful in our country. And this partnership between Triumph and Bajaj aims to create entry-level and more affordable motorcycles for the English brand, focusing on new people, new customers to the brand, so they can get to know the Triumph universe and, of course, gradually move up to the more expensive and larger models, right? And also the goal of attracting a younger audience. It's very important for brands to always renew their audience, so they always have more consumers. And starting with the design, this motorcycle has a Scrambler look. What does Scrambler mean, right? They appeared back in the past, just like cafe racers, which are customized motorcycles. Cafe racers are more focused on speed and riding on the road, while Scramblers are made for off-road riding on dirt. So we had motorcycles with knobbier tires, spoked wheels, always a bit taller and everything. That's when Scramblers came about. So here we have this very beautiful version in line with other motorcycles from Triumph, from the Scrambler family. So the look really matches Triumph with what Triumph offers, which is a modern, retro look, right? That timeless classic style. The tank is very beautiful with this teardrop-shaped two-tone paint and Triumph painted here. By the way, wherever you look, you see the Triumph emblem, the brand, the name written, or even the name of the motorcycle here. Scrambler 400X in various parts of the bike. The finish is a highlight here on the Scrambler 400X. We have some items that already come from the factory, standard items like this side protector here to give you more grip, even when you're standing, to bring more comfort and even protect your tank, right? You end up rubbing your pants and everything else. Here it already comes standard. Hand protector also comes standard. The handlebar includes a nice foam grip with the Triumph logo, which comes standard, just like the radiator guard and the skid plate. And there's also this grille here, this plastic headlight guard, which gives it a more stylish look. In fact, you can even remove this grille if you want, but then you'll see the marks where the screws are attached. And here we have full LED in the headlight, a very beautiful position light. Just look at it. And also, the turn signals are LED, just like the tail light and the rear turn signals. So the motorcycle is full LED. And the cool thing is that the turn signals are attached here on the fork, very stylish. I like that this motorcycle is completely blacked out, giving it a darker look, creating more contrast with the golden forks. Here we have a sturdy telescopic fork inverted at the front with a diameter of 43 millimeters and a total travel of 150 millimeters. There is no adjustment at the front, however, there is adjustment on the rear suspension, on the spring preload, and it has a travel of 150 millimeters with an external gas reservoir. Besides the golden forks, another item that gives contrast to this motorcycle is the chrome, the silver tones. So here we have the front fender in plastic. We have several aluminum parts, sometimes brushed aluminum, giving a refined look to the Scrambler. I like this circular plate here, written Scrambler 400X, very retro, right? It reminds me of racing motorcycles with the number placement. I found it very interesting. Another item I couldn't forget to mention is the exhaust here, very visible, with a chrome finish as well. It has a dual exhaust, but don't be fooled, the engine is single cylinder. We're talking about a single cylinder engine with liquid cooling, 398.15 cubic centimeters, that produces 40 horsepower at 8,000 revolutions per minute and 3.6 kilogram force meters of torque. So it's a very torquey engine, and soon I'll show you its performance both in the city and on the highway. I'm going to ride this motorcycle through traffic and you'll get to know its performance and my opinion. It's an engine with a final chain drive and 6 gears, so it's really an interesting engine for this category. The seat is a split type, however. It doesn't have a very pronounced curve here for the rider. I really like the finish of this seat. It really shows attention to detail. This brown tone looks really nice. It has these grooves here and the stitching. For the passenger, it's a little bit hard, but what bothered me the most is the handle back here. Aesthetically, it looks very nice, but there's nowhere for the passenger to hold on to unless they keep their hand behind them. But this handle here definitely makes it easier for you to secure luggage. It doesn't come with a center stand, it's on the side stand here, and the seat height from the ground is 83.5 centimeters. I'm going to get on here so you can see. Take a look. I'm 1.77 meters tall. I can put both feet on the ground without any difficulty. Look here. So for me, the bike fits really well. Remember that it's taller than the Speed 400. So for shorter guys and girls who want an entry-level Triumph bike, it's better to go for the Speed, especially because the wheel rim on the 400X here is bigger than the one on the Speed. It has a 19-inch rim in the front and a 17-inch rim in the back. It comes with tubeless mixed-use tires and alloy wheels. I found the fit here for my legs really interesting. I like this accessory. It gives more grip, more stability. And even when riding standing up, it gives you a good hold here too. It helps a lot. Anyway, it's a motorcycle that's a little heavier than the Speed 400. It weighs a total of 179 kilograms, already considering all the fluids and its fuel tank, which has a capacity for 13 liters of gasoline. The dashboard has a mixed display. Here on the outside, there's an analog speedometer, and we have a liquid crystal display screen. Look, here is the gear indicator. Here we have this bar that goes up here, right, up to 12, the tachometer. Down here, there's the fuel gauge, the clock right above it, and the side stand indicator. It's saying that the side stand is engaged. And up here, we have the onboard computer information. You just have to press the I button here on the left handlebar and we can switch the information. So trip 1, trip 2, they're the same. Trip 2, they're the same. We have instant fuel consumption. We have the average consumption. It's showing 29 right now. We have the range, how far we can go with the gas we have in the tank, right? And here we have, look, traction control, and we can also turn off the off-road mode. This motorcycle has extensive built-in technology. Besides being able to turn off the traction control, you can also turn off the ABS on the rear wheel. This feature is an extra compared to the Speed since the Scrambler 400X is also designed for off-road use. Here's the button for you to set up your dashboard, and here's the total odometer. Here on the outside are some indicator lights, and on the right side, very close to the dashboard, we have a USB Type-C port with this rubber cover to protect it from the rain. The levers don't have adjustment, and here on the right side controls, we have the button to cut the engine power, the turn signal, the hazard lights, and here the horn button. And here on the left side, we have the button for the position light and headlight, the I button to navigate the dashboard, turn signals for left and right, horn, and behind here, the high beam and flasher. This motorcycle has a lot of built-in technology, and besides what I mentioned about the traction control that you can turn off, and also the off-road mode where you can turn off the ABS on the rear wheel, it comes with an electronic throttle and also an assisted slipper clutch. What does that mean? The assisted clutch makes it smoother when you squeeze the clutch lever to change gears, and the slipper clutch prevents the rear wheel from locking up when you make a sudden downshift. So imagine you're about to go into a turn, for example, and you downshift hard, but your rear wheel won't lock up. I think that's a really cool feature, okay? Regarding the brakes, we have a larger disc than the Speed. So we have a front disc with a diameter of 320 millimeters with a 4-piston radial caliper from the brand Baber. If you don't know, Baber is a subsidiary brand of Brembo in India. And at the rear, we have a single disc with a diameter of 230 millimeters. ABS on both wheels from the brand Bosch. As I mentioned, you can turn it off on the rear wheel if you activate it on the dashboard. Remember that every time you restart the motorcycle, it goes back to the normal settings with traction control and ABS working. Another interesting thing that brings more safety here to the Quattrocento X is that it comes with Aero Keep hoses. Aero Keep, which is a steel mesh that doesn't expand at high temperatures, giving you more safety, much safer than traditional rubber hoses. The passenger foot peg is retractable with a rubberized finish here, and it says Triumph. And the rider's foot peg has these teeth here to give you more grip when you're riding off-road. You can even remove this rubber to ride off-road. But when you're in the city or on the road, you put the rubber back on for more comfort. And now that I've already shown you everything about the Triumph Scrambler 400X, it's time to ride it through the streets of São Paulo and also hit the road. Come ride with me. The Scrambler 400 really surprised me in the city. It's a very agile motorcycle. To ride it. Another interesting thing is the suspension. I found the suspension really nice. It brakes really well. In fact, right? Wow, I thought the brakes were really cool. ABS is not included. Changing direction. The bike is very agile for acceleration. So if you want a quick bike to ride in traffic, you can go for it and you'll find it's a good bike. Like for you, right? For what it's meant for. It's a beautiful bike, right? I think the first thing that catches my attention here in this angle is its beauty. So you have a bike that you'll look good arriving on, right? For work, for going out, as a means of transportation for you to enjoy. So for its price range, the bike is very interesting. I'll tell you the price in a moment. The seat, I think the Speeds is more comfortable than the Scramblers. But that depends more on you and your endurance. On how you feel with the bike. Who is it for? I think it's for someone who will ride in the city, maybe hit the road on the weekend. I don't think it's a bike for... I want a bike to travel all the time, a bike for traveling. Then I think there are other options from Triumph itself.
Can I start with the Scrambler 400?
Well, it's Triumph's entry-level bike, so technically you could. But based on my experience, it's always good for you to start with a bike that has at most about 30 horsepower, right? But if you buy the Scrambler, you won't have many surprises, okay? Aside from the height issue, which I always recommend buying a bike where you can put both feet on the ground, other than that, I think if you're just starting out in the world of two wheels, you'll be fine. It's not a bike that's explosive or super fast. So you'll be able to handle this machine. It's sturdier rather than being all about top speed. But there's the issue of damage if you fall with a bike, the parts. You have to consider that. Sometimes it's better to learn with a cheaper, more common bike. This is just to wrap up the question of who this bike is for. It's also good for those who will use it on all kinds of terrain, including off-road. Since it comes with a bigger rim, a 19-inch rim in the front, and mixed-use tires, it's really interesting to use it off-road, even though it comes with alloy wheels. Well, in heavy traffic, you need to be a little careful. After all, it has a really wide handlebar, so here in the lane splitting. When lane splitting, ride cautiously. Whoa! I think that's the main problem with this bike in the city, is riding there in the lane splitting. It might get in the way a little, but overall it's a good bike for you to ride in traffic. It's very agile, has great acceleration, and its torque is really surprising. It has low-end torque. A lot of people mention that. It keeps asking for gears, but honestly, first gear is just to get going, and it already screams in second too. In stop-and-go traffic, it heats up a little, but nothing that really bothers you. It's 30 degrees today in São Paulo, and honestly, you don't feel any excessive heat, okay? But that's it. Now, let's hit the road with the Scrambler Quattrocentos X. Well, here on the road it does well. It goes over 120 easily, right? And it's pretty quick, right?
It can even reach 160 there, going downhill with the wind behind.
But besides not having aerodynamic protection in the front, there's also the issue that the engine will be running too hard. I'm here at 140, over 8,000 RPMs, and the bike is vibrating. I feel the vibration in my hands and also in the mirror. I can't see clearly, I don't know if you can tell, but it does cause some discomfort. The impression I get is that I think it vibrates more than the speed. I don't know, I'd have to compare them side by side. But there's also a video about the speed here on the channel. I'll leave the link here in the card and also in the description. Go watch it later, okay? The ideal thing is to do the test out on the streets, okay? So you can see which one is the best option for you. The riding position is comfortable, okay? But for me, my arms get a little tired here. So, I don't know, maybe you can adjust the handlebar angle and everything. And you adapt the motorcycle for yourself, okay? I didn't want to mess with the motorcycle here, you know, to give it to you just like it comes from the factory, so I didn't change anything, but then you can adapt it for yourself. Regarding the suspension, wow, it's very comfortable. It really absorbs the bumps well. You don't feel discomfort. On the road, in general, it does well. If you have an issue with vibration, you know, it's a single-cylinder engine, it really does vibrate. There's no way around it, but I thought it vibrates more. But that's okay. It's honest, you know. If you ride around 120, then it won't vibrate, right? But if you ride there at 140, if you want to reach its top speed, then it's really going to vibrate a lot. But if you ride within the speed limits, then it won't cause you that much discomfort, okay? So overall, it's a good motorcycle for you to use both in the city, on the road, and off-road. But so this video doesn't get too long, let's wrap up with the positive and negative points. And before finishing the video with the positive and negative points and telling you the price, let's talk about the fuel consumption and also the insurance costs. Regarding fuel consumption, we know that the more you accelerate, the more it's going to use. There's no way around it. On the website, Triumph promises an average fuel consumption of 25 kilometers per liter. Look! That surprised me because the dashboard showed even better fuel consumption. I got an average of 30 kilometers per liter, riding around the city calmly and on the highway accelerating a bit, really using all the engine's power. So in this mix of city and highway, I got 30 kilometers per liter, which I thought was really good. And now I'm going to talk about the positive points of this machine, which is incredible. And the first one couldn't be any different, which is the design. Oh my God, what a beautiful bike. Really, Triumph really nailed it with this model. When you look at it, it doesn't even look like a 400. It looks like a bigger bike, right? Even like a 500 or 600. Honestly, it's in line with the bigger sisters, the Scrambler 900, the Scrambler 1200. Wow, the finish is really good. That's another positive point, the finish. You can tell that, of course, it's an entry-level bike, right? Even the engine is 40 horsepower, but just because it's the cheapest Triumph bike, that doesn't mean anything, right? The second cheapest usually has careless finishing, but that's another positive point here. It's not only beautiful and well finished, but also economical. That's everything we wanted, right? So I thought the engine's fuel efficiency was a good thing, a positive point. The engine is another highlight, providing plenty of torque for an exciting driving experience. So a positive point for the engine. Another good thing is that it turns off the ABS on the rear wheel, which is something we don't even see on bikes from other brands, even those with bigger engines and higher prices. And this little one already brings this technology, so that's a positive point. In fact, onboard technology is another positive point. Usually we don't see this in bikes of this size, so we have a slipper clutch, electronic throttle, traction control, so a lot of onboard technology. Definitely a positive point. USB-C port right here, near the handlebars, exactly where we really need it. That's a positive point. Another good thing is the accessories that already come standard. So I like that it comes with handguards, and this rack here I found really interesting. I like the tank, but could the skid plate be made of aluminum?
It might be aluminum, but it likely has many guards already, which is a plus.
The brakes are another positive point of this motorcycle. They brake well, come with braided lines, and Bosch ABS. I have nothing to complain about. The handling is another positive point of the Scrambler 400. It surprised me. Because here in the city, it has these wide handlebars, so you have to be careful when you're passing through. For the speed, check out the video on this channel. Link in description, and card mirror is at handlebar end, your handlebar, of course. It seems to me to be bigger than the one on the speed. But at least the bike is tall, and it goes through there, I think not easily, but it does go through. It's not that difficult, let's say, for you to get through the cars. But overall, I found its handling to be very well tuned. I liked it. That's a positive point. Another good thing, inverted suspension at the front. This golden fork is beautiful. I think it gives the motorcycle a touch of refinement. It draws attention. Sturdy diameter is a plus. It also has an electronically coded key that blinks on the dashboard, indicating its proximity. What does that imply, folks? If someone makes an identical copy of this key, goes to a locksmith, or even tries to pick it, tries to bring a key there, break the lock to start the bike, they won't be able to. So that's a really good thing, because at least it helps to deter theft a bit. I thought that was a positive point. Another positive point is the various original accessories available from Triumph for you to equip your Scrambler, which is great because you can customize it your way. Another positive point is that it has long service intervals, meaning every 16,000 kilometers or 1 year. So guys, that's really good because the maintenance cost can sometimes be a burden on the owner's budget. And besides that, in addition to the long service intervals, Triumph has a promotion where you'll pay 100 reais for the first 2 maintenance services in the first year. You'll pay $100 for the mandatory 1,000 kilometers service and another $100 for the 16,000 kilometers service, so you won't have to worry about it until next year. I do think the price is a positive point. It's not the most affordable price, 34,000 reais, but for what it offers, I thought it was very good.
It's no wonder it sold out in the pre-sale. It's a success. I don't know how long Triumph will keep this price, but I thought that was a very good thing.
And this last item, this last positive point, has nothing to do with the Scrambler 400 itself or with Triumph, but rather with our country, actually with the lack of safety in our country, which makes me consider this item, which is whether it's targeted for theft or not. And in the case of the Scrambler 400X, in my opinion, it's less targeted than a mid or large displacement big trail. So, many people end up going for bikes with a more retro look rather than a trail or a big trail, and I think they end up being less targeted, but of course people aren't sparing anything. If you leave even a broom on the street, someone will take it, right? So, be cautious, get insured, but you'll still avoid the constant panic that's typical among big trail owners. Now I'll discuss the negatives. Remember, these positive and negative points are just my opinion, not absolute truth. You have every right to agree, disagree, or even add your own thoughts using the comments in a respectful way, okay? But first, you need to subscribe here to the Motoplay channel to become part of the family, and then you can comment as much as you want. Let's start here with the negative points. Well, vibration, okay? Amanda, some single-cylinder engines vibrate, but not all of them. For example, the Dominar 400, I don't think it vibrates that much on the road.
I got the impression that it's important for you to test ride at the dealership, right?
Look for the nearest Triumph dealership and take a test ride. I thought the engine does vibrate a bit, okay? When you go over 120, 130 and keep going up a bit, it has good power. I found that interesting, but it does bring a certain discomfort. Remember that it doesn't have a windshield or any kind of standard protection, because you can get that as an accessory to bring you more comfort. But the vibration bothered me a little, so that's a negative point. Another negative point, which I may be a bit picky about and already mentioned on the Speed 400, is something that could be improved in the future. While it will depreciate the bike, it can be enhanced, which is the fact that the tachometer is digital and not analog. In my opinion, it should have a big speedometer there. You don't even need to show the gear indicator that big. They could put the speedometer in digital format and the tachometer in analog format. I think it would be much easier to see, even so you can have precision in the speed you're going.
And not get a ticket, right?
Another negative point, in my opinion, is that it's a little uncomfortable for the passenger. If you're going to carry a passenger often, my tip is either you change the seat or you get the Speed, because I found the Speed more comfortable for the passenger than the Scrambler 400. And speaking of comfort, another downside? This may be controversial since it's my opinion. When you take the test, you'll determine if it's truly the case. I found the handlebar uncomfortable. I rode it on the road and everything, and I felt a bit uncomfortable, something I don't feel on other motorcycles. So I don't know if it's the angle of the hand. Something made me uncomfortable, a feeling I didn't have on the Speed, for example. So I actually thought the Scrambler would be more comfortable for me because I'm a tall person. The bike was supposed to give me a more upright posture, not so hunched over, let's say like the Speed, which has a smaller rim and a lower seat height. But I ended up with a bit of shoulder pain, and I think it's because of the handlebar. That's my guess. But if you own one or have already ridden it, write down here below. Of course, it's important for people to test it out and get on the bike, right? Because the bike needs to fit you. So sometimes I had this feeling, but you might not, or you might have a bad or good feeling, and I'll have a different one than you did. So, of course, since I'm the reviewer here on this channel, my opinion isn't bought. It's really what I felt, riding the bike. So that's why I'm mentioning this negative point. Another negative point is that it doesn't come with a center stand, which would be very useful for you to park on uneven ground, off-road, or even for you to do maintenance like lubricating and cleaning the chain. Since you'll be riding more off-road, it'll get dirtier. So I think it would be a necessary item for this model. Also, guys, look, the side stand, the kickstand, is actually leaving the bike too upright, in my opinion, and that's even unsafe because I think it should be more tilted so the bike could lean better to the left, and with that you have more safety when parking because it's very easy for it to tip over to the right, especially if the street is very flat. Here, there's a slight incline, so you can see the bike is a little more tilted. it's safer, but depending on where you park, if it's very flat, the bike runs the risk of tipping over to the right. That would be an area to improve going forward. But honestly, it was even hard to find negative points about this bike because overall it has so many premium features. So there are way more positive points than negative ones. I confess it was hard to find them, and already answering the question I asked at the beginning of the video about whether it's worth it. Yes, it is worth it. So if you're in doubt, like, Amanda, what's your opinion? Oh, I thought it was beautiful, honestly. Not to say it's perfect, there are a couple of little things. The vibration issue does bother me a bit, but maybe that's just a matter of getting used to it, right? And also the handlebar issue. Other than that, honestly, for beginners, I think it's a really good bike. You have to take the height into consideration. And honestly, we're even happy and amazed to see a bike at this price currently being sold on the market. One that even lets you turn off the rear wheel ABS, which you don't see in bikes of this category for this price. So yes, it's really worth it, and it's available in 2 colors with a suggested retail price of 33,990 Rs. So that's it. If you liked the video, leave a like, share it with your friends. Let's get this model out to more people. Guys, for 34,000 reais, all this built-in technology really deserves to be shared, doesn't it? It also deserves what you'd like. For sure, this is the most complete video you'll find on the internet about the Scrambler 400X, with information on fuel consumption, city and highway performance, insurance cost, and of course the pros and cons. So what does it deserve? It deserves your like, it deserves your share, and what else does it deserve? Your subscription. Subscribe to the channel. If you always come here to the Motoplay channel to watch the videos and you're still not subscribed, come on, huh? Click the subscribe button down below and the bell next to it to turn on notifications so you don't miss any videos. Up here is the video of the Speed 400 for you to watch. Go check out the little sister of the Scrambler, right? The video is really cool too, and down here there's a really nice video for you. Oh, and you, my loyal subscriber, check if YouTube hasn't removed your subscription. And if you want to support my work even more, become a member for exclusive content. See you next time. Moto Kiss.